Cooking with Whitney at the Iguana's Adventure-Based Kitchen. Today, we're going to be talking about our 5 senses and how to use them in our kitchen. As a refresher, our 5 senses are seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, and touching. All right, let's break this down. First, we're going to start out with sight. Your eyes are one of the most important tools in the kitchen. You want to always make sure that you have your eyes on everything. The kitchen is a great place to learn how to multitask. Safety tip, never take your eyes off your knife. Pro tip, use your eyes to read the recipe before you actually make it so you have a plan moving forward. And finally, my #1 rule for using your eyes is that we eat with our eyes first. And we're going to get into that a little bit later, but always try and make your plate pretty. Now let's talk about our ears and listening. Ears are important in the kitchen to listen for timers, listen for the stove running, listen for the refrigerator running. You can hear foods like popcorn and protein sizzling, and also make sure that you always listen for directions from your parent or an adult partner in the kitchen. Let's talk about the 3rd sense, taste. Taste is the first step in delivering a nutritious meal to our bodies to function. Why not eat something that tastes delicious along the way? Your tongue has the ability to identify 5 different tastes. One is salty, which would be like pretzels, almonds, pickles, and olives, and some meats like bacon. It can identify sweet, which would be like fruit, honey, and some vegetables like sweet potatoes, corn, carrots, and peas, and also chocolate. You can taste sour, so fruits like citrus, kiwis, cherry, and pineapple or sour candy. You can taste bitter, which is like coffee, broccoli, and kale. And the 5th sense is umami, which is soy sauce, mushrooms, and Parmesan cheese. Your 4th sense is your sense of smell. Safety moment, you can use your sense of smell to smell rotten produce, cheese, milk products, and stale spices. Also, it's a proven fact that you can't taste your food without your sense of smell. The 5th and final sense is about your jazz hands. It's all about that touch. You use your hands in the kitchen to use things like knives, and you can also test for temperature of hot and cold items. Today, we're going to practice multitasking in the kitchen while using our 5 senses. Let's cook. There we go, now we're ready. Today, we're going to be using the stove and the oven to make one of my favorite easy go-to meals, chicken piccata. Here's a list of equipment you'll need to prepare today's meal. Today, you're going to need the following equipment: a cutting board, a knife, a hard surface, some plastic wrap, a mallet, some tongs, a skillet, a plate for dredging, a strainer for capers, a butter knife, and some different measuring utensils. The list of ingredients you're going to need for today include a boneless, skinless chicken breast, salt and pepper, flour, butter, olive oil, lemon juice, chicken stock, capers that are rinsed, parsley, broccoli, and seasoned salt. To be safe, I've already washed my hands and I plan to clean up after, so let's get started. Before we get started, I want to make sure that I have everything ready. I've got my ingredients laid out amongst my table, and I've got my oven going at 425 degrees. Also, don't forget to ask a parent to help you and if it's okay to use the kitchen. Our vegetable today is one of my favorites, roasted broccoli. Broccoli is a very versatile ingredient. You can eat it raw, you can steam it, you can saute it, and you can make it my favorite way, which is roasted. So today, I've actually already cut up my broccoli florets. I've washed and dried them, and now all I'm gonna do is go in with a little bit of olive oil, some seasoned salt, and some pepper. And what we're gonna do is toss this around and massage the oil in, and then make sure that we have the broccoli spread out on the pan so it has room enough to roast. This is about broccoli enough for 1 serving. Now that our broccoli is seasoned, we're gonna throw it in our preheated 425-degree oven for 10 minutes. After after 10 minutes of cooking, we're gonna pull this baby out and stir it, and then we're gonna let it go for another 5 to 10 minutes until it's crispy along the edges and yummy to eat. For this recipe, you're going to need 1 chicken breast. In this case, we're going to butterfly it, which means split it in half. So, all you do is keep your fingers away from your blade, put your hand on top, and what you're gonna do is cut through the breast, and then open it just like a book. Just like that, and then continue to cut through all the way. So you have 2 equal pieces. Now we're gonna pound out the chicken, which allows it to be even and thin so it cooks faster. So all you need is a piece of plastic wrap and a mallet, and then you pound it out. Now we're going to season our chicken and then dredge it with some all-purpose flour and get it in the pan. All we want for this recipe is a very light coating of flour, so make sure you shake that flour off of the chicken before we get it in the pan, and make sure you wash your hands so we don't get cross-contamination. All right, now let's cook our chicken. You're going to need a pan set to medium-high heat, a tablespoon of butter, and a tablespoon of olive oil. The olive oil has a very high smoking point, and so that's gonna allow your butter not to burn. Once the butter gets melted, we're gonna get our chicken in. In the meantime, let's get our broccoli out of the oven. All right, I've already stirred our broccoli and it's ready to come out. Let's see how it looks. Now we have our butter and oil hot, and it's time to add the chicken. And we're gonna let it sizzle. You can hear it for probably about 4 or 5 minutes on each side because it's so thin. And the chicken's been fried on both sides, so I've pulled it out, and now let's get our sauce ready, get it in the pan, and get our chicken back in the pan, and finish this meal off right. All right, here's a super easy sauce to put into your pan. It's a piccata sauce. We're gonna start off with about a 1/4 cup of chicken broth. We're going to put in half of a lemon, and I like to put my palm out and have the lemon juice go through my fingers just in case there's seeds in there. And then I have some capers. These are very salty, so you wanna make sure that you rinse them off before you put them into your sauce, otherwise it'll make the sauce very salty as well. So you've got a little sour, a little salty. We're gonna add it to some umami, and we've got some bitter broccoli, which we've made a lot sweeter by roasting it. So we've got our sauce that we put together, and we've got our pan that we cooked our chicken in. There are some crusty brown bits in the bottom that we want to scrape up, and we're gonna achieve that by adding this liquid and allowing it to deglaze. And what we're gonna do is just scrape up all those brown bits on the bottom and make a really yummy sauce. All right, so we're just gonna let this reduce down a little bit and let the sauce thicken up. And then we're gonna add a little pat of butter, and that's gonna allow our sauce to come together and create sort of a silky texture. After we do that, and it's ready to go, we're gonna add our chicken in, let it finish cooking, and then we'll pull this meal together. So our chicken has had time to set in the sauce, and now it is time to plate since our sauce has thickened up. All we do is get in there and make sure that we get some capers and some of this nice brown butter sauce on here with that lemon and the chicken broth. Like I said, we always eat with our eyes, so I want to add a little bit of fresh chopped parsley to bring it all together. And you have your bitter turned sweet, your sweet dessert, and your umami, salty, and sour chicken. I hope you had fun today. Continue to keep your family safe and healthy, and I hope to see you next time on Prepared for Life Cooking with Whitney. Enjoy!